this thing at the bottom of the who else should.
Oh, hello, welcome back to Entrepreneur and Investors Live. D, where you at? Tell me what you at today. Actually, wait, we're talking about what you're building and what are you investing in. All right, so tell me what you're investing in, what you're building, D.
I'm building some. Hold on. I can say exactly what I'm building. I'm building. I'm building a media base. I added the media base to my broadcast now. So now that artists that rock with me will get the same thing that they get if they was on a commercial radio station.
So explain what you mean by that. Like what? What are they getting?
Royalties. They get the royalties. They get the BMI, ASCAP, and media bases and C-SCAN.
So wait, so you're saying you set it up for them, or it attaches what they already have?
It attaches to what I do. So once their metadata is correct, then it automatically reports to the systems, and then they get paid for getting rotated on my station.
Nice, that's awesome. So, and this is on wherever every day, because you do this every day, right?
Website. Right. Whenever I spin the records, whenever I put them through my system, they get reported. It's almost like it's the same thing like what we're doing with Coinbase and all that type of stuff, but it's always been like that for the music. Like that's how artists get paid, the royalties. You ever hear about the royalties?
Yeah. Of course.
So I added that to my broadcast now. So now when it gets played, they get paid. So it makes it way more valuable than just me playing their music.
Hey Layla, we got some Meta Bronxers in the house. All right, so how are you thinking about like right now? You rolled this out? It just started, or what's your plan?
It was something that could have been had a long time ago, but I never really focused on it because I felt like all of the artists didn't have it together. But now I'll just deal with the artists that actually have it together, and that's that.
All right. So what do you need? So I mean, me and Damien, we know each other. Damien has a radio show. Hey, Shane from Meta Bronx are in the house. Actually, Shane helped produce this show for Meta Bronx, high school student. What do you need the audience to know? Because I got 1 million followers, D. So
Yeah.
What you need?
They need to know that if they have all their metadata correct and they report to BMI or ASCAP or CSAC in Canada, then if they connect with me, once I create the packages and the system, that they can submit their music and they can get spin. So
all right, what's the URL so they could do that though? Like, cause I DSNBX.online. All right, so I'm putting that in the show notes. So one thing, we got the Meta Bronxers, specifically Shane mostly. He's taking notes, and we're going to be able to have these notes somewhere. So as we talk about crazy stuff, we're going to be able to get to it. That was one of the feedbacks I got from Sunday. All right, so that's what you're building. What you're investing in? Are you looking at the crypto world? Are you investing in stocks? What's going on?
I put some money on Bitcoin today, and I put some on Ethereum the other day. So,
nice.
I gained $15 already on what I had. So I need to put more so I can get more for my gain.
And what's your @ name? Because right now I'm on YouTube, everything. So what's your @ where people should find you on social media?
My @ on social media,
Instagram, DWIMUZIK, right?
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. All right, so yeah, man, check out Damien. Damien has a online radio station / Clubhouse room like every day, right? You go online every day?
Yeah, we do the morning show every day. At 3:00 I do the producer's point of view, and then I'm floating around just supporting other entrepreneurs throughout the day. So
anybody, anywhere, any questions for Damien, let me know. Put it on. I don't know how long he can hang out, but he'll answer your questions. Omar, how about you? What you building and what you investing in?
We already
I know. We gotta tell the world, you know.
30 seconds ago, I'm hounding your ass. I got money. Where should I put it?
So Omar just texted me. What else? What coin should I buy? I said, you know what? We're gonna talk about it on Clubhouse.
I know, bro, my spot. No, man, look, it's funny, right? Because you know how long I've been now on this crypto space, coming in through the NFT environment, and then it just kind of bled over because as someone who's invested in stocks, it's like you just can't ignore it, right?
Yeah.
And now that the NFTs have taken the world over, I mean, if the artists again in it, they're considered, you know, that's a big population. That's a big subculture of people who are now basically almost investors themselves, because you hear these guys talking about, oh, I bought this person's art, I bought that person's art, and there's secondary markets. So that's amazing. And I can't imagine a great percentage of them not going into the crypto world and going, you know what, I'm going to start buying coins as well. And then having that market grow substantially, just because you have people who are probably never invested before now can relate because they're being educated like I was, you know, through NFTs. And it's kind of easy, you know.
NFTs is the gateway drug. That's what they saying. NFTs is the gateway drug. Yeah,
100% the gateway drug. Because now I'm not in those NFT rooms. I'm in these like Bitcoin rooms trying to hit what these guys are talking about. Because it's the next thing where it's like, if you and I talked about it, where if you don't have your money in it now, there's a great chance you're gonna be missing out on huge opportunities. And so I see it. Like I looked at my regular stocks that I have, and I'm looking at just I kid you not, in the last like week that I started putting money into my Coinbase, and I'm already up like 15%.
I know.
You know, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I got to start shifting my funds around.
100%.
Yeah, man. But now the funds are like, but now the questions are, you know, you don't want to jump into stuff that's going to go bust in the next couple of, you know, weeks or maybe in the next 2 months, because for me, I've never had great success being a short seller. You know?
Yeah, if you try to time it, it's tough. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to time it this time. I think I can do it.
There are certain things that you should, right? Because you can see it. You can see that something like a coin that's maybe like 15 cents, if that pops to 50, there's no reason why you shouldn't get out, you know? Or, like, you know, the conversations with that other guys that we had the other day where he said, yo, I started at 34 cents and now it's at $15. I mean, come on, dude. Like,
exactly.
You know?
So this is what I'm hearing, actually. Come up with your multiple, especially in crypto, right? Some people are like, look, 20x, you'll get there. Of course, how long? You might need to ride out one of the drops, right? Right now, we're on the up. Everybody's seeing the up. We're going up. Market. But it's going to come down. How much it comes down, we'll see. But how much it goes up. So here's a major thing that I've been studying, right? The idea of cryptocurrency going in cycles. So right now, we're in what's called the 4-year cycle of cryptocurrency. Every time in the past, in the 4th year, I think it's called the halvening. I think it's when more Bitcoin are created or something like that. Bitcoin goes up, and you can see it in this chart. I don't have it in front of me, but there's a chart where you can literally see every time it happens, every 4 years. So every 4th year it goes. This year, they're saying that it's very possible that it goes ridiculously high because all these institutional investors and now the Coinbases of the world made it much easier. The previous times for you to buy crypto, you pretty much had to be a technologist, right? Like it was very hard for the regular person to get this. Now, my dad has Bitcoin, right? And it's very easy to get because of Coinbase. Coinbase just IPO'd, and we haven't hit that main point, which is about, they say is like September-ish is the actual 4th year. And they're saying that possibly with all these institutions that it can really like, there's some people believe that it could 4x by that time. Some people think maybe 50% more than it is right now. Who knows? There's a very big range. I personally believe, go ahead.
No, sorry. There is that big range, but you know, that's the thing that everybody knows Bitcoin and Ethereum now. Those are like kind of 2 mainstays that everybody can talk about. Everybody understands what they're doing. It's these altcoins and the other cryptos projects that are on the market that you want to jump into, right? Because like you said, that's like your biggest
jump.
That's your biggest opportunity to jump percentage-wise.
Yeah.
But so
it's just also super risky. Also, I spoke to my lawyers this week. I'm not a financial advisor, and anything you hear, It's up to you to do the research.
As soon as your coins hit.
I know, right? I'm like, you guys are all up right now, but when it starts to drop, everybody can be like, you mother.
But check this out. Just a minute before I jumped into this room, I was listening to one of these other crypto rooms, and one guy had an advice because someone proposed to him the same question I had just asked you a couple of minutes ago, right? It's like, I have some funds. There's a lot of options, a lot of coins to choose from. Like you always say, do your research, figure out what projects make sense to you if it has legs, right? So this person was like, I don't want to recommend anything, but my strategy is I'd rather have a small percentage of funds in about 15 projects than having a large percentage in just a few projects, because those few you don't know. But if you have your kind of your assets spread across 15 projects, it's better that way because nobody knows exactly where any of these coins are going to go.
100%.
And, he's like, I've been in many years. It's hard for anyone to predict what organizations are either going to be in it for the long haul or they're just going to pull the rug out, the next day.
But that's the same with any type of investment, especially technology, right? Venture capitalists, if you know the venture capitalist world, they raise these huge funds. Like you'll hear Company A raises $100 million fund. The reason they raise that much money is because they invest in a lot of companies. They even know most are going to fail. The way I've heard about it in the venture capital space is they expect like 70% of those companies to go out of business. So if I invest in 100 companies as a venture capitalist, I expect 70 of them to go out of business. They expect about 8 to be Coinbase and give me 10,000 times my money. And then they expect the rest to just make hundreds of millions of dollars and not billions of dollars, right? And they make so much money off those small ones that win that's enough to keep it going, right? And that's it. I mean, that's like that in many things. The record industry is like that, right? A record label will take in a bunch of artists and then only one becomes Rihanna, right? And Rihanna pays for the whole label while these other artists are, they do okay here and there. So that's just a math basically in everything, right? So what you're saying is definitely a strategy that I've done too. Like, so for instance, XRP, everybody sees XRP going up big. I saw XRP, I want to say early last year, and I heard a story that they were most likely going to become the currency of Europe, the cryptocurrency of Europe. I didn't know if it was going to be true, but it was 30 cents. And everybody who knows my story knows I saw Bitcoin at 30 cents and I didn't buy it. So when I heard those two things, it was 30 cents, I put $100 in. Now that $100, and of course, it was a bumpy road because there was a whole lawsuit, XRP, where they stopped letting people buy it. So I thought my money was going to go to garbage, right? $100, but it was only $100. But now that $100 is $500 today. But I could have got rid of it. Even I could have got rid of it. I knew how to get rid of it, but I said, whatever, I'll leave it in. It's $100. But now that's 5x already, right? So
yeah, what is it, like $1.81 now, right?
Well, I didn't even look. Wow, so it's even higher than I thought. Yeah, well, last time I looked, that was like 160 or something like that.
Yeah, $1.81.
So this is the thing, right? I didn't bet on that for the tech. I bet on it because I heard one story about it possibly being the currency of Europe. And I was like, hey, if that happens, it hit my 30-cent radar and I caught it at 30 cents. That for me is my personal sign to make sure I pay attention and put a couple bucks. Sometimes I put $10 into something like that, right? So I've done that with a few and they've gone up too, but not nothing like XRP has. But for you, Omar, which strategy are you thinking about then? Which one are you most likely to take? The go bigger in a few or lesser and more?
That is usually my take because I like to have big positions in a few items and a lot of small positions because I do like to see, like, just in the stock mentality, if it goes up $1 and I have 100 shares, that's $100 as opposed to having like 2 shares and it goes up $1, you're like, all right, I got $2.
But
like,
you, yeah,
me, right?
Yeah.
But like I have I've got like a half a dozen Tesla, right? But like it's great when it goes up like $30,
yeah,
but,
when it goes down too, right? Sometimes
and it goes down just as much.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing is like you, trying to do my homework, trying to hear the buzz, not necessarily the buzz, but just like what people talk about, how they talk about the projects, what they think is viable long term. Because I don't want to get stuck in something that's kind of like going to
be here, then gone tomorrow. I do want to take that approach also, though, to have, like you said, you put $20 in this project, $30 in this project. But on the flip side of all this direct investing into these coins, I am invested in grayscale ETFs.
Okay, so that's just safe. You
also not a financial advisor.
Yeah, so I'm not a
I'm
financial.
just saying that I heard about him through the guy BitBuzz. And what Grayscale does is they create ETFs and trusts, and they're the largest.
So explain ETFs and trusts, because some people may not know what that is, and some people are me.
ETF in simple terms is basically a fund, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And they basically have a lot. It's like, I don't know. It's like you said, like the startup. Their fund and their holdings is what makes them, what creates value for them. So Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, they're basically the largest holder of Bitcoin, and they package that into an ETF so they can trade on the stock market, on exchanges, basically. So
what they hold Bitcoin, and then people, because I always thought ETFs were like multiple.
They're just an exchange traded fund, right? It's like an investment fund. They hold, like, you can have an ETF, a tech ETF, and a pharmaceutical ETF. That just means that the tech ETFs holds the majority of their stakes in tech companies, and the pharmaceutical ETFs is basically made up of a bunch of pharmaceutical companies. It's like a hedge fund,
But there's the thing with Bitcoin. There's only one Bitcoin, so why not just buy Bitcoin yourself?
Basically, is they're taking the bulk of the risk by putting all their money into investing Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is at 60 grand. I can't get in substantially into Bitcoin right now. So I got onto the Grayscale Trust, the ETF, because now I have exposure to Bitcoin at a safer capacity.
Why is it safer though? Why is it safer? Because if you put that same amount in actual Bitcoin, how is that different? Huh?
So basically, I can't afford that. Right
No,
now,
but you could buy $20 worth of Bitcoin.
I'm like, I got chips, like everybody else. We all got 0.1.
Yeah. So I understand the difference though. That's what I'm saying.
The difference is that it's kind of like, it's a little bit more regulated. I can invest on the stock market. Like I can go through my E-Trade account. I can put money at it, and it goes up not directly. Sorry, it goes up a little bit as Bitcoin gains value. This ETF will also gain value. The people who manage it are taking the responsibility. Instead of myself, they take the responsibility by organizing the ETF. So they are invested.
I guess I don't understand. I understand if it's multiple coins, but if it's just Bitcoin, why wouldn't you just buy Bitcoin?
Well, they have the Grayscale Bitcoin because it's just basically traded on the open on an exchange.
I guess because if you got a traditional IRA, so I'm gonna tell you a funny story, right? If you have a traditional IRA, you could do it, and you could take advantage of Bitcoin in your IRA. Got it.
So Grayscale basically operates the largest traded Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF. They have Litecoin ETFs. So Grayscale, the company as a whole, that's what they're doing. So now, like you said, I can go through my 401k, my IRA, and I can invest in these ETFs on an exchange, where I can't do that through Coinbase at the moment. I can't set up an IRA on Coinbase.
Oh, so somebody on YouTube, my man Ricky, who I went to high school with, he's saying it is multiple coins. It's not just Bitcoin for the Grayscale.
The majority of this one is.
Okay.
So it says, I'm looking at it right now. First publicly available Bitcoin cash investment vehicle. So they basically, the majority of their Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is invested in Bitcoin, because they have an Ethereum one, which I'm also involved in. And
so it's a genius move for them to get people involved and not feel like I got to deal with this crazy technology world. I could just go in my normal route of tech. Of investing and stuff.
Kind of like traditional investors, and they don't want to have to deal with the ups and downs of like Bitcoin.
So
they kind of just put their money in an ETF. It's safer. ETFs usually move a little slower. Like, for tech, I mentioned tech because there's a lot of ETFs that have like Apple, and that moves when Apple moves. But I'm invested in Apple, so I wouldn't go into an ETF that has Apple, I don't have Bitcoin. I don't have a lot of Ethereum, but I can buy a lot of shares in these Grayscale ETFs right now because they're still affordable. Like the Ethereum ETF is probably at $23, I think, today. And
so wait, so why is it $23 a share then? Are they saying Ethereum's $2,500 Ethereum, so you're buying 10% of it by buying a share? Is that what it is?
something like that. I don't know how that valuation. I don't know that metric.
Okay.
It's just lower because someone else is doing the managing for you.
All right, so I'm going through the questions on YouTube.
You're basically buying shares in the ETF that is managing the Ethereum.
So okay, somebody asked on YouTube, what is Grayscale? Okay, so Grayscale is basically what Omar's saying. He's saying it's basically a group of investments put together in one. So as an investor, you may not want to buy crypto as crypto, you buy it through a stock, and now you have access to crypto. But what I see is, I think people just need to start playing around. You do, though. You're not only doing that, you're doing both, right? You actually own Ethereum and Bitcoin as well as doing the ETF. Why are you doing both, though? What's the reason to do both?
Because like I told you before, I saw my regular stocks moving at like 1%, 2%, and then I saw these things going up at 13%. I'm like, you know what? 100%,
100%.
But in the last 2 days, because Coinbase was doing the IPO, there was a lot of rumors about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and they were saying, this is the way to go. It might be worth more than a gold ETF in the next 2 years because the market cap is just so great on Bitcoin at the moment, and it's only going to go up. So, it's a conservative way to be invested in crypto.
I get it. But what I see is it's a way for the traditional way to go to keep still that traditional model, where Bitcoin is kind of trying to disrupt the whole thing. So I went to my bank like a month ago and said, all right, I'm going to start managing my own 401k because it's sitting there in stocks, like you said, going up whatever small percent. And I just see Bitcoin 5xing last year. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to handle my own money for a little while. It took me a full month to get, and now I'm not talking about millions of dollars, to get my money to start managing myself. And in that month, Ethereum went up $1,000. Bitcoin went up like $6,000. And I'm like, this is the problem. And I think people need to start understanding how to move towards this and be able to jump back and forth. Because when it really gets crazy, this is what happens. I wish I would have done this last year. It cost me a lot of money.
Dude, I'm in the same boat as you. That's why, I had texted you today and yesterday because I was like, I was waiting for funds to transfer, and it just takes 5 business days. And you're like, what the what the heck? And then you're telling me like, on your Matic, you're doing this stuff in seconds. And I'm like, that makes sense. That makes more sense because you want to get it when the tickers are red and everything's down. You're like, I got to jump in right now. But then your bank is like, you got to wait another 5 days. You're like, dude, you're costing me cash. You're costing me money. So
100%. So I'm getting some questions. Go ahead.
Because I know a lot of people were listening, and so I just want to Google it so I can get the right wordage out on what Grayscale Bitcoin Trust does. Is that they're an investment vehicle that enables investors to gain access and exposure to Bitcoin Cash and coin in the form of a security without the challenges of buying, storing, and safekeeping the Bitcoin directly. So
okay, that makes sense. So
yeah.
You get to own Bitcoin in a way, own the benefit of having Bitcoin without the worry of not understanding how to manage it all, which right now it is a pain. Like you do have to be savvy to actually own it. I know a lot of people right now think they own Bitcoin because they had bought it in Robinhood or in PayPal. And they're realizing right now, like literally last night, I'm texting my friend because he's posting like how much Bitcoin he has on Robinhood. And I'm like, hate to break it to you, but you actually don't own that Bitcoin. You're going to want to stop buying on Robinhood and actually buy on Coinbase because you can't do anything with that other than get the upside. So Robinhood is kind of like an ETF-ish kind of thing too, because you don't actually own that Bitcoin. You're just riding whatever it is and you could sell it at its height, right? So that's kind of where I want people to start getting their hands dirty in crypto, because once you start seeing what's possible, like you said, waiting 5 days for your funds to transfer, I waited a month. You do something in crypto, the longest time it's going to take is maybe 10 minutes. And that's Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is like slow in this world. And when you're waiting 10 minutes, you're like, what the hell? What's going on here, right? Because Ethereum is like seconds or minutes. But your bank, literally today, I had to drive to pick up a check, put it in a bank. I was in traffic when I could have just passed that money through digital, like in minutes, for less fees and everything, right? So it's like this world is coming fast, and if you don't get used to it and deal with it now, you're losing money. So yeah, go ahead.
I think as a layman's term, I think because you do have a lot of people listening that are younger and different age groups, or not, like you said, savvy. But I can't stress enough how easy it is to just open up a Coinbase account. Coinbase.com. You just open it up, and then you see the stuff there. There's not a lot of tools to confuse you, right? It just says where do you want to put your money, how do you want to put your money, and how do you want to.
But there is some stumbling blocks, right? So I was with an investor today. And I'm telling him this, and I've been telling him this for a long time, and now he finally believes me. And we go to set up his Coinbase. He's like, all right, set it up for me right now. We tried to put his ID. I scanned his ID, and it keeps saying not verified. And I'm like, I really don't know why it's not verifying. You have an ID just like everybody else who signs up. Not sure what's happening. So he hasn't been able to buy because he's trying to do it. He's like, maybe you could figure it out. And I just scanned his ID, and it didn't work. And that is a little bit of a hurdle. The second hurdle is today, because Ethereum made an update. They made basically what you can think about as a software update. You know how when your Mac updates or your phone updates, Ethereum made an update. And what that did was it stopped Coinbase from you being able to do stuff right now, because Coinbase, it's been like a day since they IPO. They don't want to mess up, right? So they're not going to let you trade while Ethereum is settling any possible issues with this new update, right? So right now you can't do anything there, but you can do stuff in other places, but you can't do stuff on Coinbase. But if you know how to go into the matrix, like people like me, you can still do stuff. But right now, Coinbase is shut down.
Yeah, I'm on Coinbase now. It's working, but they're not giving me all the options.
Well, I was trying to get him. So all right, so let me take some of the questions on YouTube. Anybody ask questions? YouTube, anywhere, Facebook, wherever you're at. So okay, let me make sure I got all of them. All right, so we answered Grayscale. Julio, thanks for bringing some people from London. Thank you. All right, so all right, Sanchez World. Random question: would you don the one thing? Oh, I did actually check that book out. The One Thing is a good book. Check it out if you're interested in learning how to be more productive and get your ideas done. The One Thing is a really good book to check out. All right, what's another question? All right, so you're the one from London. What's up, man? Would you be against sharing your sleeper altcoin? Everybody who's been watching my content knows what I'm about to say right now. My sleeper altcoin is Matic Polygon. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. It's up to you to decide and make your own decisions and research. But Matic Polygon right now is looking pretty crazy. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why. Just in the last day, two huge things I heard. First thing, everybody's in the NFT space. Anybody who's on NFTs, you know about the gas fee problem. The gas fee problem is if you want to put up an NFT or buy an NFT, you have to pay what's called a gas fee to switch the information to the blockchain. So let's say I make an NFT right now of this show, which that's something people do, and I may do it one day, and you want to buy this show, and I say it's $5. You want to buy it for $5. You say, I'm willing to buy it for $5. To write it to the Ethereum blockchain, it could cost you anywhere from $50 to $200 to even more. Today, some people were saying that it was even higher than that. So it will cost you $150, $200 to buy something that costs $5. Matic has come out with a version of OpenSea where you can do the same exact thing for less than a penny. And that's going to be huge for Matic, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, Matic Polygon. So if you're looking it up, Matic Polygon, again, I'm not your financial advisor. Second thing, you can borrow off Matic. So I haven't seen many coins yet that you can that have their own network and you can borrow off of them. Since Matic just came out and is doing it now and it's pretty new, they're giving 35% interest to people that store their Matic on Aave. Aave's AAVE.com. So right now, let's say, and again, we're gonna do some stuff so I can really teach people this stuff. But if you put $1,000 into Matic right now, it's 40 something cents. When I was telling people it was 35 cents, it went up 25% in like 3 days. I don't know how much higher it's gonna keep going, but I believe it's gonna go really high over time. You put it in You borrow, let's say you borrow $100 from your own 1,000. Cost you cents to do this. You could do the same thing on Ethereum, but it costs you a lot of gas fees. Because you have that $1,000 on Aave, they're giving you 35% interest on that $1,000. Let's say you had that same $1,000 in the bank. You're getting 0.01% on the dollar, and the dollar's not going to change in value. Matic, I said, just went up 25%. They're giving me 35% interest on that money. And what they're doing is they're giving me more Matic with the 35%. So let's say right now I have, let's say 1,000 Matic, and over time through this 35%, they give me 350 more Matic, and Matic goes to $30 one day. That's a lot of money. Think about that, right? So this is where it's kind of crazy, and I believe in it. It's the third one, the most that I hold. I also hold a lot of other ones. Like I said, I'll put $10, $50, $100 in coins once I do the research. And then if I believe in it more, I'll put another 25, 50, 100, sometimes 500 if I really, really believe. And that's how I started with Matic, right? Somebody told me about Matic, put a few bucks. And what normally happens when you put a few bucks in is you start to do more research, right? Because once you own it, you're like, all right, let me see what this is about. And once you start really understanding more and more and more, you believe in it more or less, you go deeper or not. So that's where I'm at. So that's my sleeper pick right now, personally. Theta. All right. So somebody in the YouTube is saying Theta. I saw Theta at $8 and I didn't do it, and I'm kicking myself. But I do believe Theta is a great project. Theta looks to disrupt what we're doing right now. I'm live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Clubhouse. Theta is an app that basically will give you Theta coin for going live on its platform. I told you I saw it when it was $8. Now I think it's like $15. Imagine getting coin every time you go live. This is what YouTube does, right? But YouTube doesn't pay you until you get to a certain level. Theta's new, and Theta's giving coin for using for Theta. So if you're a YouTube streamer like I am right now, I'm looking at Theta and I'm figuring out how to get involved Theta in what I'm doing and also own Theta. I don't own it yet. I wish I would have bought it when it was $8.
Is Data the Data DATA and it's a streamer?
No, it's THETA. THETA. That's the name of the coin. It's basically like a Twitch. It's like it's actually a Twitch clone in a way. It's only for live streaming, and if you're live streaming, they give you Theta coin. I believe that's how it works. I'm pretty sure. I gotta research it more. But
so let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you this. With because you said that Matic is now accepted on OpenSea, right?
Yeah.
How are they determining? Are they just accepting both currencies? They give you that option now?
No, so now it's like Matic.OpenSea, right? So they have like it's in beta form, actually. It's not live yet for everybody, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this is crazy. I'm telling you information that most people don't know.
Is that just gonna because people are probably obviously gonna not use it, they don't have to pay gas fees.
The thing is, this is the big thing about Ethereum. Everybody's looking at Ethereum because of NFTs. Most people, right? Everybody got the gateway drug of Ethereum because of NFTs. If you want to buy an NFT, you need Ethereum. What's happening now is once you come into Ethereum, you learn about all these other coins, right? So Matic is one of these, right? The big thing is, if you already have Ethereum and you understand the world, you'll buy Matic to pay less fees than buying Ethereum. But Ethereum's main moneymaker is not NFTs. Ethereum's main moneymaker is what's called decentralized finance. This thing I'm talking about where you borrow money from your own assets, which is cryptocurrency. So when people see NFTs and they're like, oh, so many NFTs going through Ethereum, NFTs represent like this much, so much small of the percentage of transactions on the actual Ethereum blockchain. It's laughable. It's all multi-million-dollar transactions going back and forth from all these huge companies. So Matic may take what's called the layer 2 solution and may become, because I've always said this, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum are like highways. Matic is going to be a side street. So you don't need to do everything on a highway, right? Some things you could do on the side streets. So NFTs may end up on a side street instead of needing to be only on a highway. So if that's the case, think about the gas fee. Why pay $50 gas fee to buy a piece of art? You don't need that. But with a big transaction, I just saw a $10 million transaction went through and the guy paid $50 gas fee. That makes more sense, right? It doesn't make sense to pay $5 for a thing and they pay 50. So it makes sense to create these side streets for specific things, and the gas fee is going to be less. And Matic is looking like a huge part. They're partnering with everybody. And that's why I think it's a huge opportunity, really. And the fact that you could borrow from it on top of that. So basically, they're making their own decentralized finance thing too. On top of NFTs, they're making a decentralized finance. They're making a bunch of partnerships to make decentralized finance cheaper too. So just, that's my call. Let's see how high it goes. And of course, we could talk about years. You can't say, Apple was whatever it is a share in 1 year. It took 20 years. I don't think it's going to take 20 years for things like Matic to be $200 a share. I don't. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin took 10 years to get to 60,000. Ethereum is about 5 years younger than Bitcoin. 5 years to get to 2,500. But these are the big dogs, right? But look at this. There's some other coins that are already $500. And if a Matic goes to $500 from being 30 cents when I told you, just remember me when you're rich. That's it. I just want a Christmas gift.
Well, I think that's the next step. I don't know if this is the correct room for it, but to show how you borrow against your own assets is
that I'm gonna have to take that kind of stuff a little offline, because that might be considered financial advice. I'm gonna make a room where people we'll figure that out. But right here, I don't know. I gotta talk to the lawyers about if I can do that. But you can learn. I mean, it's not that crazy. Yeah. Caesar, what are you building and what are you investing in?
Before Caesar starts,
Go ahead.
I saw Caesar in a room and he started like a Bieber fan base room, and I jumped in real quick, had me dying.
I can barely hear. We can barely hear you, Omar.
What?
We couldn't hear what you said.
I was dying, man. These girls were like defending everything Justin Bieber did to these other people. I was like, holy God, Caesar, what is Caesar doing in this room? He organized. I was like,
Caesar is the number one paparazzi in the world. Caesar knows all the stories. Yeah.
Yo, God, hold on. That's hilarious, because I probably was the only guy that was in the room and I actually started the room.
Yes, you were, because I looked at the audience. I was like, yo, these are like way younger. Oh my God.
So what's crazy about, I'm sorry to take it off topic too. Omar, you funny. So the thing with that is I got 4 of the most powerful girls in that industry, in the fan clubs. And these girls have millions of followers. So I can't talk their kind of talk, right? They talk, 24, 25. I'm 42, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a disconnect. But what I have is a lot of stories, because I've been one-on-one with Justin. I got thousands of videos of
I was there one time. I actually got to witness the one-on-one with Justin Bieber. It was pretty cool. Go ahead, go.
Yeah, so that's, and again, we brought in, I had to really get in these fan clubs and really let them know who I am. They do know who I am, but they don't know the person behind the videos, you know what I'm saying? So this movement is crazy with the Justin Bieber, now Rihanna, doing the Rihanna one, and I'm just, trying to extend myself. Yeah.
So as an entrepreneur, because it is part of this topic, as an entrepreneur, what's the value in being in that audience? Is that gonna now, I guess,
good question,
get you a bigger fan base? But will you be able to? Are you gonna try and shill to them? Or are you gonna ask them yo, I've got NFTs up of this clip of Justin. This is where you should get the Justin memorabilia from me because I'm your guy now. How's that parlay into that?
That's definitely what we're talking about.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, right now there's we're amongst family and thousands and millions of people watching on YouTube. But basically, any entrepreneur is marketing themselves, right? Like Caesar's in a room full of people that love what he does. It only could help whatever he decides to do, right? Which he has a YouTube with millions of views, right? So if more of them go watch that, he makes more money on YouTube. I happen to know because me and Caesar are partnering. I'm dropping something pretty soon. That audience will love it. So he's in there building it up, you know. So once we launch, he has an audience to possibly contribute to the project. So yeah, pretty much. I mean, Caesar, I don't know how much more you want to say. I don't know how much more we should say. What about how much are you? What are you investing in? If you don't want to talk about the project, you can though. I'm good. I'm good with it.
So the project is literally almost like about to be in beta testing real soon. So I mean, it's just more eyes, right? If you can grab more eyes, and you know, and they know that your value is so high, you just got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? And that this is my lane when it comes to like Justin Bieber and celebrities and stuff like that. So yeah.
Fresh just said Sanchez is gonna need a fan room soon with all this investor and entrepreneurship advice.
For sure.
Caesar's gonna pat me. I'm gonna make it so one day Caesar's gonna paparazzi me like I'm a star.
Exactly. But yeah, you know, I'm definitely dabbing into Bitcoin and Ethereum and getting into that new coin that Mig literally not forced me to buy. But
I don't work for the company, I swear to God.
Let me tell you something. You talk about it so much. I was like, something up. Matic, I got to jump in this. So I put in some money in there. So I'm more I got to be about it than just hear about it. You know what I'm saying? So I got to jump in. It's where I'm at right now, and of course I'm learning about it as I go. But yeah, these are exciting times, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pushing Matic pretty hard because I really think this is to me Ethereum light, right? It's like, all right, we could possibly be catching an Ethereum level thing early. Like I wish I was able to talk about this when Ethereum was 40 cents, right? Not to say it will be Ethereum. I think Ethereum has a lead for what it does. And I think there's going to be a Matic way for them to be symbiotic, right? But I don't know that. So I am watching it. And what I'm really watching for anybody who buys it because they heard me say it, I'm waiting for what happens to it when Ethereum makes their upgrade. Ethereum is supposed to make an upgrade in the summer, right? Then I'm going to watch. But from now to then, it could 5-6x, and if you got $1,000, just like last year, Bitcoin 5-6x, it could 10x. Who knows, right? But when Ethereum, but none of these coins go from here and just go off the map. It don't happen like that instantly. It takes time. So you can say, all right, I see it went down a few cents. Maybe I'll take my gains out. I'll take a little bit of gains out and leave some in and see what happens as it goes down. Maybe you buy more when you see it going back up. These are all strategies that I'm thinking about, but I'm really going to watch what happens to the whole blockchain world when Ethereum makes their update, which is supposed to be after the summer.
You keep saying an update because on Coinbase, I do see Ethereum 2.0 listed.
But it's not ready. Basically, what they're doing is they're letting people what's called stake their Ethereum for the second version. So what that means is if you have 32 Ethereum, you can put it into a stake and they're giving you interest on that Ethereum. So I think it's like 8% interest. So that's not bad. Where can you get that with your money, right? But at the same time, what they're doing is they're locking up enough Ethereum so they can test, right? By you staking it, it's not out there being used around. They're able to know that a certain amount of Ethereum is going to stay in the protocol so they can do what they got to do. Once they get there, they're going to give you your money back. Plus, it's going to be higher. Plus that 8% interest. I think they pay it in more Ethereum. So again, there's actually a guy who says, if you have 64 Ethereum right now, you may be able to retire after the 2.0. There's a guy on YouTube that I heard say that. So what was was there a question there though? No? All right, so I'm gonna take some more. Oh, you do have a question, Omar?
No.
So I'm gonna take some YouTube questions, then I'm gonna take you, Randa. All right, so let's see. JG dropping knowledge. Fresh. All right. This is all about research and forecasting. Unless you know some people who knows some people. But that's most stock, most investment. Most investment is this same process. The one thing though that I have noticed, and I'm not the only one to notice it, like I've been seeing it on YouTube, but I've been like seeing the charts. What happens first is Bitcoin is the granddaddy of them all. Everything follows it, right? So right now, everything is up because Bitcoin is up, right? So Bitcoin will go up. Then Ethereum comes right behind it, like a few days or if not a few hours later, you see Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up, then all these altcoins go up. Then Bitcoin goes down. Then a few hours later, maybe days later, Ethereum goes down, all the altcoins go down. So what you got to do is watch Bitcoin, right? And if you see it and you're like, whoa, something's up, let me start. What you could do is switch to what's called USDC coin. That's basically like moving your money into dollars. And then it doesn't go down anymore. And then when you see it go down, you could go back in and buy more. There may be tax implications there. I'm not your financial advisor. Talk to a financial advisor. But you only pay taxes on money you make, right? So if I told you you want to pay 50% tax on $1 million you didn't have, would you do that? I would, right? So you shouldn't really worry. I think that's another big thing. People are like, oh, yeah, but what about taxes? If you don't make money, you don't pay the taxes. If you're making money, you make money, pay taxes, you know? So, all right. So let's see what else for the newbies to learn profit taking. So yeah. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Fresh just said it. It's for the newbies to take profit. So one strategy is, let's say you're up 2-3x. Let's say like with XRP, I just told you, I'm up 5x. I put $100 in. Today, I could take that $100. Now I got $400 of XRP that I didn't have before, and my initial investment is back in my pocket. That's a way to keep your profit. With me, I'll just leave the $100 in. But if it's a lot, like there's people that do what I did with $100 that do it with $10,000, right? And then they take that $10,000 back, and now they have $50,000, $40,000 that continue to grow for them. That's another level. I'm not on that level yet. So, Randa, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. Tell me how to say it right. If you're interested, what are you building and what are you investing in? If you're there, you might not be there. All right. So, how about you, Urban? Oh, you are there.
Sorry, I just dropped my phone. I'm at the gym. I'm just fascinated by this conversation because it's totally new to me.
Thank you.
And I've been in and out of rooms like this, and this is the best one by far.
Thank you.
For a newbie, where to start? I feel like I've missed the boat already.
No, you definitely didn't miss the boat. The boat is just starting to leave the port. Yeah. I know people feel like it's 60K, so I'm out. I can't buy it. But less than 5% of the world owns cryptocurrency. Less than this whole decentralized finance conversation just started. It literally was just really created in a mass scale. Like last time in 2017, when all this crypto crash happened, most of these, actually almost all of these decentralized finance projects didn't even exist. So we are in this like golden age of the institutional investors are just chomping at the bits to throw billions of dollars in here. The world is seeing it.
The world. I think that the fact that Coinbase IPO'd is a big signal that it's slowly going mainstream, and that it's going to only get bigger from here on out. The fact that we are just the day after it IPOing is pretty phenomenal. So you did not miss anything. I think, you know, if I was to say, you know, as a person who invests in stock, you know, get a Coinbase account, start messing with it, because once you start that, it becomes more second nature to you, and then you realize, look, I can get a piece of the Bitcoin. Might not have the 60 grand to get one full coin, but at least you're in it partially in a percentage. And I think I look at it as basically like investing in a company like Apple. Like you can't own Apple, but you can own shares in Apple. So I look at it, I can own shares in a Bitcoin. And as people have been predicting, it's only going to go up because there's no more supply of it. So even if you have $500 in Bitcoin, which is, a 0.00 something percentage of a full coin, that $500 will still grow as long as Bitcoin goes up, which is the thing to be doing. It will go up.
And this is something to think about that I heard today, and I actually believe it's going to be bigger than even they said. They said eventually, and who knows how long this will be, maybe our lifetimes or not, but it's happening much faster than anybody thought. Even the Bitcoin enthusiasts thought it would happen. They said Bitcoin is going to eat the market cap of gold. Right now, Bitcoin is worth $2 trillion. The market cap of gold is $10 trillion, right? So if we look from right now, that's 5 times, and that's just gold. Bitcoin is not only eating gold's market cap. I know a lot of real estate investors putting money into Bitcoin instead of real estate. Even the stock market, if you look at what happened with Tesla is not buying $1.5 billion of Bitcoin instead of gold. So when you think about that, if it takes over all gold and more companies do what Tesla did, there's another company called MicroStrategies. There's a video you should look up on YouTube. Everybody should look it up. It's called The Greatest Investment Ever. Asset Ever. Greatest asset ever. I'll link to it in the show notes. Basically, what the guy says is Bitcoin will become the most valuable thing the planet has ever created. He said owning Bitcoin will be worth more one day than owning Manhattan real estate because of all the things it does, right? So if you think about it, if we just go to 10 trillion, that's still 5 times more money than it is right now. And I don't think it's only going to go there. That guy who made that video, his company, MicroStrategies, had $500 million in the bank. And he was realizing his stock was going down. And he's like, how is my stock going down when we got $500 million in the bank and we make money every year? And what he realized was the value of the dollar was going down. And he said, all right, so I got to take my money out of cash. I can't just have $500 million in the bank. So what did he do? He put it in Bitcoin. Bitcoin 5x or more because he did it even earlier than last year. Think about that. Took $500 million, 5x'd it just last year. And he says, I'm never stopping buying Bitcoin, and I'm never selling the Bitcoin because it's just going to continue to go up in value. So I know that people look at that 60,000 number and say, oh, I missed it. But what about one day when it's $1 million a coin? You're going to look back and be like, ugh.
In February, when it went up to 50K, people are like, I missed it. Then they're like, oh, now it's at 62. So I think that's the telltale sign that this has got room to grow. And it always will. And it still will grow because on another video I saw, I think they said there's only 1.8 million coins left. So once they're all gone, that's it. The supply is over. They're not
supply's over, and however much fiat went into it, that's the value of it. So
I think it's funny because we're in a small room, and I don't think there's any like huge whales who are investing like $10 million at a time. So I think everybody, even on your YouTube channel and this Clubhouse room, it's like I said, you can start with a small nominal amount and use it as like shares in a company. Like you got 200 today, cool. $100 next week, cool. And you just keep putting it in there, and then surely over time you will get to a percentage where you're like, okay, I own 1/10 of a Bitcoin, which is a substantial amount. That's still 6K. That 6K doesn't have to be dropped in today, but at least that 6K, that's kind of like a savings account that will grow. And that 6K can turn into 8, 9, and 10, and that's better than having your money in a savings account, in my opinion. Not a financial advisor, my opinion, but I think that's just where you have to look at it because people always get, like you said, overwhelmed at that 60K number. Like, there's no way I can afford a Bitcoin. No, just get a portion of it, and then that should suffice on whatever income bracket you're in. That will be beneficial to you in the long road.
What I recommend, and this is, I literally do this myself. I set an automatic $25 a week, right? So even if I forget, I buy $25 worth of Bitcoin. But if I feel like, you know what, I want to buy more, I can. but I'd rather be in the other coins because I think the other coins will jump more, but I want to own Bitcoin. When any of these altcoins skyrocket and I pull out my money, I'm putting it in Bitcoin. I'm not going to, the way I'm going to save my crypto is not in cash. I'm going to save it in Bitcoin, right? I'm going to try to get the biggest gains I can, but I'm going to use Bitcoin as the final place to store it, you know? That's my goal.
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
But I am going to watch like a hawk. And when I think it's going down, I'm going to move stuff to USDC, which is dollars. And there's places that will give you 30% interest on your dollars, which where the hell else you're going to get that, right? Through decentralized finance. So I can go and say, all right, let's say math easy. I got it to $10,000. Bitcoin is going down. I put the 10,000 into USDC. I'm going to get 30% interest while I wait for Bitcoin to go down. And when I feel like it's coming back up, I buy more Bitcoin at that low price and I ride it again. That's what my plan is right this second. But again, I'm learning every day. And I'll keep explaining what I learned. So any other questions, Rhonda? Like I know you may feel like you missed the boat, but do you still feel that after all this?
No, I don't actually. This room has changed my mindset. I am planning for the long term. I have a son with autism, and I want to make sure that he will always be looked after. So I'm relatively conservative, which is why I've been watching and waiting. But I think it's now time to enter.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we could do that for you. Amazing comment. Thank you so much. And of course,
I would definitely say you didn't miss the boat on anything. I got in on Bitcoin at 44,000. So it sounded like a lot to me. And I was a little bit thinking like, this doesn't make sense. I'm putting money into something. It feels like it peaked, but it hasn't peaked enough. And that's only because I've been doing research. So if you get in now, you're still getting in at the baby stages. That's for Rhonda, because I know you were questioning it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and like I said, this 4-year cycle, they say it will end around September. That's the timing of the 4-year cycle. So we still got a few months, and they say at the end of the cycle is when it jumps the most. If you look, and you can look at the charts, I'll find a chart for the next stream. At the end, it goes like boom, like the COVID numbers, you know, like, right? So then, of course, it comes down. When they say when it comes down, it's not like it goes to zero. It may go down 20%. But if you 5x your money or 2x your money or even 1.5x your money, it goes down 20%. That's not a bad deal. And it will come back up, just like most investments, especially because the way it was built, it was literally built to always grow in value. It's pretty genius. And the only way it doesn't grow in value is if we all sell it at the same time, which how likely is that to happen, right? I mean, the world would have to be in a pretty bad place. And we just came out of COVID, which is one of the worst things in our lifetime. And it grew this much, right? So I think we're in a great time.
Hey, Miguel, I was wondering, with Coinbase IPOing at, was it 86 bill? Was that there?
I think it was started at 100 billion, then it went down to 87. I don't know. I think that's what I remember.
I think it landed at 86 billion. I'm just curious though, because if you look at their model, they really make their money on fees. So a company like that making their money on fees, is it just like, I don't know if you know this, but is it their technology, or do they already have contracted relationships with, you know, other crypto entities? Like what
makes it value that much?
Yeah.
So all right, this is where it's really interesting to understand stock versus crypto. What makes Coinbase valuable in the stock world is not about how much the fees are. It's about how much money goes through the platform. So if you think about it, right, and every day people are buying millions and millions and millions of dollars of Bitcoin, but they're only charging 3%. It's not based on that 3%. It's based on the millions and millions of dollars. So, and I know that doesn't really make sense, but in the business world, companies are rated, they're based on how much money goes through them, right? So Coinbase in the last quarter, I think like $100 billion went through it, or some crazy number like that, because people are buying. And it might be more, I don't know, I remember the full thing, but the idea is they are the only publicly traded one like this. So that's going to bring attention to it, right? Because now, like Omar said, now if you are a traditional stock person and you're not really ready to walk into the future, you say, okay, the way to get into cryptocurrency is by owning Coinbase, right? Or you buy that ETF. And that's why I believe but I also believe there's some hype there. That's why I'm waiting a little bit to see how far it settles. But I do believe over time, Coinbase will grow because it is one of the best platforms to use. It has all the regulations. The government doesn't mess with it. It has to know your customer, which means if you're going to buy coins, you need to have your ID. And there's ones that don't have that, and those are a little less reputable. You could do more crime if you want to in those. So Coinbase has all the like checks, and it's the first ever publicly traded one. So I believe it will have some staying power. But I recommend, if you're going to invest in Coinbase to invest in crypto, I recommend you invest in crypto because you're going to make more gain.
Yeah. Use Coinbase as the platform to get into the crypto market. Because Coinbase, I mean, even as they IPO'd yesterday, they're already at $3.22 a share. I mean, it's crazy.
But it started at $3.92, right?
Let's see. Yes.
It
started at $4.09.
$4.09. Look at that. That's what I'm saying.
But then by the afternoon, it went down to $3.28. So now it's leveled out a little bit.
Where is it now? You check?
$3.22.
See, it's still going down. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just got into like buying stocks on IPO day. I did it with Airbnb. I did it with Unity. I did it with Roblox because my sons play Roblox, and they all were like high, and I bought them at the height, and then they all went down, and then they slowly creep back up. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna learn my lesson this time, especially with this one. But what I did know was when people start looking into Coinbase, more people are gonna buy cryptocurrency, because when you see tradition, you said it, Omar. You see your stocks going up 15%, and you're like, "Ooh, that's a good year." And then you see the crypto like 3xing in 2 months. You're like, "Wait a minute." Right? Yeah.
Well, I think, you know what? I think the amazing thing is, as you say it and a lot of other people say, that there's such a small percentage of people actually invested in crypto that you're not, as Rana says, you're not missing anything. And as Fresh said, you're getting right at the good point, because even with Coinbase going public, there's still a large majority of those traders who just want to invest in the company and not necessarily what the company is dealing in, And I think it's still that hesitation where people don't really understand or see the longevity of the crypto markets unless you're in these types of rooms and you have your ear to the rails and you're listening to this stuff. But when I walk out of these rooms and I talk to other people, nobody is invested in crypto. Like people who have a lot of stakes, a lot of stock holdings, they just don't touch the crypto stuff, Yeah. And I don't know if Coinbase might change it, but there's still a lot of people who just don't want to wrap their heads around it and have care less. They just want to invest in the company called Coinbase. And
people are scared. You know what it is? It's innovation. At the end of the day, innovation is not taken on fast most times, right? And that's where I live. I literally tell people I'm in the future, I'm in the present, and I'm in the past at the same time, right? So this is the future. It really is. Most people can't see it yet. They can't wrap their brains around it. But that's why I say buy $20 of Bitcoin, because what that starts to do is it opens the door for you to start doing that research and walking into the future. Because once you start understanding it, you see it's undeniable. Like what it's doing, it's just a matter of time. Literally no way.
Every day things are going up 12%. Like why wouldn't you want to be in it?
Yeah. And just what it does, what it stands for is a new world that we would all benefit from. It's basically, it takes out, eliminates the middleman. It gives you assets in an easier way than ever. The only other thing I've seen like this is you have to buy a home and get it to a certain level before you can borrow off of it and buy more homes. This is way easier than that. You could literally do this. You could do the same thing I just said with $20, with $500, with $1,000 versus $100,000, $200,000, $1 million.
The other thing that's like socially interesting about this, because you're a little bit on topic about that, you know, so when you go to the bank, specifically in the United States of America, depending on what you filter in as the vitals for yourself, African American, female, your age range, education range, you know, your income, things like that, that is all put into a system that decides what type of loan or
what interest rate. Exactly.
Yes. Oh yeah. And so in this world, that doesn't exist. We are literally all the same.
Exactly.
And that's why this is such a disruptor. That's why this is huge, because this is global. This is literally, we are the world.
Yeah.
Whoever's involved in this, it sounds funny, but
no, it's true.
Whoever's involved in these conversations, we are holding hands, really trying to loop us all around the globe with this, because that's exactly what banking and financial institutions have been doing forever. They have created a system that it doesn't work in our favor. We are the disruptors right now.
100%. The second I did that loan, because the person who told me about it, I was like, why would you take a loan? I'm not taking a loan. That's dumb. And he said, would you say that if you had property, a real estate property, that the bank was willing to give you more of a loan so you could buy more property? And I was like, of course not. I will buy another property. He's like, why are you looking at this differently? I was like, well, why would I want to go into debt for no reason? And he was like, well, this is where we all get tripped up. Rich people use debt to make more money. Poor people use debt to go into more debt, right? And I was like, good point, good one. And I was like, but what am I going to do with this loan? And he was like, if you really believe in Bitcoin, you could buy more Bitcoin. If you really believe in Ethereum, you could buy more Ethereum, just like a house. If you really believe in some other coin, you could put money in there. And that started to really open up my mind. And when I was like, all right, I'm going to test this because it sounds unbelievable, but I'll try it, right? So I went through the process and I was like, all right, when am I going to have to talk to somebody? When am I going to have to put my ID? When are they going to realize I'm Puerto Rican and not give me the loan? Right? And then I finished the whole process and I had the money in like 5 minutes. It was in my account, in my wallet. And I was like, wait a minute, am I finished? The money's there. He's like, that's how easy it is. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, but wait a minute. I just did this with one Ethereum. It was $1,700, the Ethereum, when I did it. And they gave me $1,000. And I was like, what if I would have had $17,000? He was like, they would have gave you 10,000. I was like, all right, what if it would have been 17 million? They would have gave you 10 million. And I'm like, so if I have $1 billion, they'll give me half of that or more. He's like, it doesn't matter because you gave them the asset. If you end up defaulting on your loan, they take your asset. But I'm like, all right, so that's a big deal. How do I not default on my loan? He's like, okay, let's take your Ethereum. It was $1,700. He said, maybe in a month, it may be $2,000. So now your loan is 50% of your collateral. I was like, all right, that sounds cool. But what's the interest rate? It's variable. I said, okay, what does it look like today? It was 7%. So I was like, all right, so what's my monthly payment? He was like, there's no monthly payment. I'm like, all right, there's a Ponzi scheme. How can I not have a monthly payment? He said, look, if you pay it back early, they'll take the money. You don't even pay a penalty. You just pay it back. Or you take however long you want. Let's say it's 7% interest. You just have to be able to make more than 7% on that money to be worth it. So in 1 month, Ethereum went up to $2,400. We all see that. And my interest payment on the money is $8. So I owe $8. Ethereum went up $700. And I bought 2 coins. So I didn't buy more Ethereum or more Bitcoin. I bought these 2 altcoins, which is a little risky, right? Both those coins are up. I'm probably up $300. I haven't looked today. Last time I looked, I was up $300. So basically, I made $300 off $8. and my collateral went up. That's like taking a loan from the bank, giving them 1,000, and then your 1,000 turning into 1,500. Oh, at the same time, I'm getting interest on having my Ethereum at that place. It's called compound finance. I'm getting interest on my Ethereum on top of that. So I'm getting more Ethereum by having this loan. I'm paying 7% interest on average. My collateral rose. The coins I invested in all went up. Of course, some could go down, some can go up. That's up to your research. Guess what coin I bought? Matic, right? So, and then I could borrow off Matic. I did the same thing. I borrowed off the Matic as well. And I bought more Matic. So I mean, I know it sounds pretty unbelievable and crazy, but you should just try it. You could really try it with very, very little money. You could try it like with a few $100s, you could try this. And it's pretty insane. The first step is just owning some coin, some type of coin, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum. I would start there. I would start with Bitcoin, Ethereum, just so you can know the differences.
Let me ask you this. Those are great. With the two mainstream platforms to buy coins and crypto being Gemini and Coinbase, have you noticed a difference between what is offered on Gemini? Meaning,
yes,
Coinbase has. Like, I think they have a different market cap, right? Like they don't allow coins unless they don't allow you to trade coins unless that coin has a specific market cap. Correct?
So Coinbase is a little more like make sure the coin is not going to fluctuate as much as other coins. What I've seen on Gemini is Gemini takes risk on coins that it believes will be good earlier, but they still didn't reach the market cap thing. And I think Coinbase is starting to do it more and more. Matic was one of the first ones I saw where I was like, whoa, it didn't reach the market cap, but they put it in. And that was part of the reason why I was like, oh, I'm buying this coin, because if they put it in before the market cap, they must be seeing the same kind of stuff I'm seeing. And now I see they're doing more of that, but not with coins that are like not to a certain level. Gemini, I see a little bit more of in there. Like, for instance, Filecoin, which I really believed in Filecoin very early. And I couldn't buy it on Coinbase, but I could buy it on Gemini. So I did, and Filecoin went up big time. And it's still, I don't even know if it's on Gemini. I don't even know if it's on Coinbase yet. So that's, and also another big reason to be in all of these exchanges is they have limitations on how much you can do, right? Because the banks are slowing you down. Like, let's say you wanted to put $10,000 and your bank may not want you to put it all in one. You could do it in two. So sometimes I do that. I'll buy some coin in Gemini, some in Coinbase. Also, if you use my links, you'll get $10 free in Coinbase, $10 free in Gemini. I was doing that last year with people. When Bitcoin was $6,000, people were using my link and making $10 of Bitcoin. Where is that now? That's 10 times more they made. So basically, I was giving people $100 last year for signing up with my link, right? So who knows where this ends up going? And literally, I see it every day. More people, because I get $10, they get $10, right? So I'm like, hey, let's let's keep it going.
Right. So just to dial it back again, so like, you know, myself as someone who's new in the space, I know a ton of other people probably listening. Also,
millions of people listening.
Yeah. Millions. So let's just say that maybe then Coinbase would be a safer bet because the coins that they list aren't as volatile. So if you're, you know, little sketchy about putting your money somewhere, Coinbase maybe has the better offerings that are a little bit more okay for a conservative investor.
I feel like that. I do feel like that. Like, Coinbase is more the top of the heap in this world. I think Gemini is like probably number 2 in America, though. I know there's Binance, but Binance doesn't work everywhere. Gemini works everywhere. So that means to me they've already dealt with the regulations and stuff in a way where they've navigated that well.
I don't know. You say work, and it does work. What I've noticed, just clicking on a few coins, that it will say, because we're in New York City, we have a lot of regulations on us. Like, we can't buy Bitcoin direct, I think. But I noticed some coins on both Gemini and Coinbase, it says not available in your area, or not, you know, doesn't let me trade in my area.
See, I haven't looked, because I don't buy the crazy coins. I don't buy them on on these exchanges. I buy them on Uniswap. So Uniswap is like, oh, this is walking into the matrix. I won't take us all the way down that path. But yeah, I mean, there's restrictions. New York is against cryptocurrency. Guess why? Wall Street, right? Wall Street knows the future is coming. It's kind of like the cab companies trying to stop Uber, or the hotel industry is trying to stop Airbnb, but it's unstoppable. Like the technology is unstoppable. They're gonna slow us down as long as we can. Yep, JP Morgan. Is that
JP Morgan? They got the biggest stakes in Bitcoin right now.
So that to me is the worst part of all of this. You hear news like even some of the stuff Randa said and different people say, oh, but what about taxes? What about this? What about that? They're the ones putting this out, but at the same time, they're buying it, right? Like you don't hear they like Tesla. Tesla didn't say it bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. It bought it and then said it a month later. And then because that's part of SEC rules, but they made more in profit of holding Bitcoin for 1 month than in the history of the company profits, right? So these people are buying it. They're just scaring us out of buying it while these huge companies are buying it.
Apple as well. They're also in Bitcoin now. And
I'm sure
exactly what you said. And that's you know, when you and I talk and you hear like Tesla and Apple, these massive tech companies that have endless reserves to put money into these cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. And then you hear even more scarier that, you know, you have these big financial institutions like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. All that means to me that eventually they're going to start regulating it in a way that Fresh alluded to, where they're going to say, you can have it, you can't have it. And that's, you know,
but that's where that's why part of why I'm creating this content like this. I am going a little heavier on crypto than I normally do. I'm not a crypto channel. I'm not a crypto. I just see it as once Bitcoin is bought and everybody has it, I'd rather it be 80% people like me and you than 80% Goldman Sachs, Tesla, and they're buying it up in big chunks, but they can't outnumber human beings, right? We have 7 billion of us.
No, and that's right. And that is the optimistic standpoint to this, is that because it has been decentralized, and that is the concept behind all of this, is that there will be other miners and other currencies that we can now exchange as opposed to Bitcoin. You guys want to be in Bitcoin? You guys go do that. We have 25 other options that we can now exchange currencies with. You know, whether that's Ethereum, whether it's Litecoin, whether it's like a bunch of these other smaller coins that could become more mainstream and could have a big cap. Because like everyone knows, like, and you said it many times as well, Bitcoin is like bars of gold. It's there, you're going to store it, and it's just going to have value. But you can't do anything. You can't walk into a grocery store with a bar of gold and buy gum. Yep. So eventually, Bitcoin is going to be that. You can't just walk in and exchange it for something. You're going to need these other currencies. So if these big financial institutions want to hoard it and hold it, that's cool, because the miners, the ones who believe in the decentralized concept, will mine something else for us to exchange with. And I think that's where the optimism is and the whole DeFi universe, you know, and the concept of what that is.
100%, 100%. And that's where Ethereum is so powerful, right? Like when you start, this is where most people are going down that road with NFTs, and they're like, oh, I want to buy this piece of art. Then they realize, oh, I need Ethereum. And then they're like, okay, what's the difference? Why do I need Ethereum versus Bitcoin? And when they see the smart contract and all that, and then when you go into other coins and you see what they're doing, you start to realize why I say this is the future. Like literally entire businesses, instead of going to the stock market, they're creating coins. And instead of owning shares, you own coins, right? And instead of waiting till Coinbase IPOs and it's worth $392 a share, you can buy it when it's 40 cents. Big difference. Big difference. The Nas's of the world, there was an article. Nas made $100 million because he invested in Coinbase early, his VC firm. But why is that? Because the government only allows certain level of rich to invest in companies early. So only the rich get richer. But now with crypto, you can invest in Matic when it's 40 cents. And if one day it goes to $300, you can become rich. Versus before you couldn't do that. You know, and now you can't do it in the stock market. You can't invest in a company unless it's penny stocks. You can't invest in a company that is worth 50 cents that everybody knows is going to be $300 one day. Only accredited investors that are rich can do that. And this is where I'm telling you, this is the future, because when you become a company and when you're building stuff, you need investment. You can only take money from certain level people. So you got to really work to get those people's attention. But if you have something that works for a lot of people, right now they have equity crowdfunding, and even that you got to jump through hoops. But and right now I deal with it. I deal with it every day. I train companies to do it, and it is one of the best modes available. But what crypto is going to do is going to disrupt everything, and it becomes, how do you compete with that? How do you compete with, I say, hey, today I want to start a company. Here's 1 million coins. Whoever wants to buy them is my partner. You're going to have voting rights. You're going to share in the profits, because as that coin grows in value, your share grows in value, right? So if you bought 10 shares and now those shares go from $1 to $10, just like Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is an idea just like any other company. It's just the first one. And that's why it has such a big leap, but it's a great idea. Ethereum was the second big one, and it's a great idea. Matic and stuff like that are just the next waves of it. And they're all going to be powerful, I believe.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, the article with this Coinbase IPO is also Kevin Durant, who invested early. You know, they speculate he invested only $1 million. That's a low ball. But factually, 53 times his investment.
Yeah.
So even if he invested $1 million, he's now $53 million richer.
That's the problem. This is why I'm.
You know this. What is it? What does this mean? He was a Series D funding.
Series D. So that basically Series D means, okay, so there's early investors. So you get angel or friends and family. So I'm going to walk you through the process. So everybody who's watching, thank you for watching. I'm going to break it down. Let's say I have an idea today and I need $100,000 to make it happen because I need to hire X, Y, and Z. I can go to my friends and family, which in the hood, that's much harder to do when you come from a rich family, right? So I go to angel investors. They give me this money. They get the value of my company at the cheapest level it could possibly be. Let's say at that point, I say my company's worth $1 million just because I can say that. So they gave me $100,000. So they own 10% of my company for $100,000. Let's say I start doing good. We start rocking. I'm ready to raise money again. But now I'm ready to raise millions, right? So I'm going to raise $3 million. That's a Series A, right? Series A, not going to D. I'm going to get to D, right? So Series A, I'm going to raise $3 million. And now the company's worth $15 million, right? So now those next investors are getting a worse deal than the first investors. So every time you go to raise money, those investors get a worse deal. Kevin Durant got in on the 4th level. Series D is like $50, $100 million raises. So think about that. And he still made 50 times the money. Imagine the people who invested early. This is where now with crypto and equity crowdfunding, we can be in the first level. That has never been possible before in history. It just happened in like the last 2-3 years. This is why I'm creating this content, right? I want people to understand the differences, understand the future. Equity crowdfunding and crypto are kind of the present, but crypto is just mentally the future. People understand stock, so equity crowdfunding makes a little bit more sense to most people. Like, okay, if I told you could buy Uber stock today for $1 a share, you'll be like, okay. But if I told you you're going to buy Uber coin for 30 cents, you're going to be like, whoa, I don't understand that. I'm not going to do that, right? So it's the same thing. It really is. We just got to start understanding it and putting our money where we believe the projects need, and we believe in the projects, right? So that's why I'm saying, just don't put money in a coin just because you see it's hyping, like Dogecoin, even though I made some money with Dogecoin too, right? Dogecoin was literally a joke. They made it as a joke, and people put so much money into it that now it's at 17 cents. I got it in when it was 5 cents, but I only got into it because I was like, hey, whatever. If it works, it works. Again, I didn't put thousands of dollars in it. I do know people that did, but I knew that this project most likely would not do anything because it's not meant to do anything. The coin just is a coin that's a joke. But then when I look at stuff like Matic, Ethereum, and I say, these things are built to have businesses built on top of them. These things could end up being the Amazons of the future. Look at what Amazon's worth. And that's Amazon is centralized. The Matics, the Ethereums, they're decentralized. So there's no Bezos that's going to take most of the profits.
But we know, we talked about this. We know that Amazon is building their own blockchain, you know, so.
Yeah, but this is where you can't compete with decentralization, right? Like if you have an option and you say, I'm going to use Amazon and I know they're going to use my data, not pay me. They're going to make trillions of dollars profit and not share with me as a customer versus a decentralized platform that is going to do all of those things. These decentralized platforms, they literally give you coins for using them. That's like Amazon giving you Amazon stock for buying on Amazon.
Oh, bro, that's what I was telling you yesterday. That Decrypt app, just reading articles, they give me coins for how many articles I read on their app.
This is crazy. I'm telling you, they're making it so it's going to be very hard for the traditional business to compete with this. But that's why as an entrepreneur, you have to understand this movement, because if you're building and not understanding this, you could be already be building something that's out of date, right? Not to say you go full crypto in right this second, but understand the path so you could start to like maybe use some of it and still take the present and the future and go, you know?
You're making me cry about all these Flash websites I'm building right now.
Yeah, we've been in the game a long time. But damn, I've been online for a long time. These clubhouses go, man. But I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for everybody who came through. Hopefully you're building something and investing in something. Hopefully you learned some stuff from everybody here. Thank you for coming. Like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff wherever you're seeing this. And I'll be back Sunday, 11 o'clock. We're gonna do Sunday, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do it again. Definitely put $20 in Bitcoin, $20 in Ethereum, just so you're in the game if you're not already. I got links everywhere. Get an extra $10. Sign up for all of them. Get extra $10 everywhere. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Nick. Love it.